Well, while this is getting started, let me introduce myself formally. I'm Mike Vogt. I'm the new chemistry and physics teacher here. We've been talking, and especially after this previous in-service where we were talking quite a bit about technology, I was finding myself with a problem that I was hoping technology could help me with. The bigger scale issue is how can we add more hands-on time in the classroom? And that's something that I'm always struggling with as a science teacher. As much as I'd like to stand up there and hear myself speak when it comes to the classroom, and especially the students, I find they get a lot more out of experimenting, doing something, and having the time to do something wrong and then correct it. And sometimes that doesn't happen. Sometimes we run out of that classroom time where they can use the equipment that we're so lucky and fortunate to have. So I was hoping that maybe by using some of these resources, the technology that we have, maybe we can expand that time and spend a little more time on experimentation and inquiry rather than direct instruction. And we started out with a particular lab in mind, one that we were working on, and I noticed that there were quite a few steps in the formatting process, how to format our data and how to learn from it. So after we took the data, I uploaded a video to YouTube. So if you're on my website in the physics, they have the template for that particular lab. There's also up here helpful hints for that particular lab, the impulse and momentum. So that directs them to a YouTube video. And before I start, I want to let you know that the audio quality, I'm working on it. It's just a little webcam on my computer. So, but basically, I walk them through step by step what they need to do in order to make sense of the data they collect.
All right, hey everybody. So I want to run over a couple of things.
So as soon as they import the data, this is what they see. And for a lot of students, one blip on a graph is not going to mean all that much. And so what I was hoping to do with this video is to let them see what to do with it and how to format it and how to use the programs that we have.
Logger Pro open with my data from my multiple runs. I'm just picking one of them. We're going to talk about it and see what it is
classroom approach when you're working on this, or not necessarily.
We assume
It's something that I'd like to get to, but I don't have the resources quite yet. So at this point, usually just something to supplement so that we're not saying the same thing to every lab group as they're working individually. It's something that I can say, please watch the video. If anybody has additional questions, I can help guide you. Help the concept as opposed to
just means nothing code once committed.
Eventually, I love
Watch it over when they can pause it and go home.
Exactly. I also find that it helps. If you'll allow me to skip ahead, this shows them how to, well, this blip is the only important part of that graph, so we can zoom in. And it shows them exactly how to zoom in. And then most of my students are not in calculus. This is an algebra-based course. However, to get meaningful data out of this, they would need to apply calculus, and they're not at that point. So thankfully, we have a program to do that. So this just shows them how to do that. Instead of taking the area under the curve using a complicated integral, we just click a button and it does this for us. Well, as they go on to college, or if this were an AP course, that would be a different story. I would probably spend this time showing them how to do that. But at this point, it's just how to use the program. And then as we collect more data, we're going to have to start doing a calculation. And that brings us to the next page where I step-by-step go through my sample data so that they have a sample by which they can use as a template on how to use their data.
So let's do that. We're going to go over here. The final velocity, I go down here, and I notice that that's 0.509 meters per second. And I have to think about the scenario. For my particular lab, at the end, the part was moving to the right. So this 0.509, that's a positive number. So my final velocity is positive 0.509, and I want to subtract the initial velocity. So I go back over here, we go to the initial, and that's that's going to be 0.572 meters per second, but I got to remember that at the beginning of the lab, that part is moving to the left. So that's going to be a negative 0.572. It's negative 0.572. Fantastic.
All right. And then it continues on. Now this is a little bit long. It's about 10 minutes, but it walks them through every step of the lab, even through the error analysis. So this is something that I don't think has saved me all that much classroom time, because they were watching this in the classroom and manipulating things on the computer. What I noticed that this particular version of using technology has helped me with is, first of all, that I'm not repeating myself to the same group, or if I am repeating myself, I'm sure that I didn't say the same thing exactly the same to each group. Now I know that they're getting the same data, they're getting the same vocabulary, and I'm not slipping up on myself. The other thing that I notice is that they're a bit more independent in that if they say, oh wait, where did that come from? They can rewind the video and see exactly where on the graph that came from. They can start to relate and transfer some of that knowledge from math class and apply it to the real world scenario of this experiment. As I say, I hope to work this into my typical, I don't want to say lecture series, but rather than an entire period on lecturing where I'd be using the smart board anyway, if I take the video of it and put it online, at that point maybe that, maybe I cut it down to just 5 minutes, and that could be a warm-up that they can do before class. Or maybe it's a follow-up. If you didn't understand this in class, here's another sample problem that I've worked through for you. And maybe it'll save them a few minutes over a couple of weeks. Maybe we can get into the lab fitted.
Okay, so I mean, I've done this, and so you put this on YouTube?
Yes.
So they don't have access to this? It's on.
It's through the
on
school
your
website.
website,
Through the school website.
Yeah, they
Okay.
link to it through the website. So,
But your link is a YouTube link?
yes.
Or it's a Promethean link?
It's a link to youtube.b.live, whatever.
Okay. And that we do have access to?
I'll have to take a look at that. I know youtube.com, when you go to it, you can't. It's blocked.
But I mentioned this, when you switch the filter, the kids can get to YouTube, because I spend most of
Okay.
the lunch period making sure that they're not going somewhere where they're not supposed to be.
I had no problem with any of my students logging on. There was a little bit of
I'll have to check, because
So,
literally that next day I checked youtube.com and it's blocked. So
Yeah.
if
I
he's
just saved it
okay.
as a Promethean. They've been getting there. Didn't work for them.
Okay.
So you
Then
have
I'll have to take a look.
YouTube?
Now, how did I do that? When I log into, I have a YouTube account.
Yeah, I do too.
And when I go to upload,
Yes.
it gives me some choices. I believe I had to save the video as an AVI.
So Promethean doesn't do that automatically. You had to choose that?
Yes. So if I can.
Because when I linked to it on my website, it wouldn't come up. Like
Okay.
the Promethean video wouldn't come up when I linked to it on my website.
Do I
Okay.
want
I
active
don't know what,
studio?
and I asked you before what file format that was. Do you remember?
It's probably AVI.
Is it an AVI?
That's what Promethean
Because I couldn't
exports
remember.
as.
So when I tried to play it,
If I were to, where is that?
as just an example for
Screen recorder,
me
here
to
we
try
go.
out, and then I asked him to check.
Okay, so this is how I went about doing that. I went as a full screen
Right.
capture.
Yeah.
When I hit record, it prompts me where I want to go. AVI.
Oh, so it says it in an AVI.
So I guess it did that automatically. Now I did a little bit of editing. I did voiceover. So when I edited
okay.
it, I used what did I use? What
Yeah,
did
I just
set me
use
up with?
straight because
Not Camp Studio, the Windows Movie Maker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Windows
just
Movie
use
Maker.
straight Promethean. I didn't even go.
And it should be the same. It was either way they were saved as an AVI and
Yeah.
YouTube recognized.
Yeah. And okay, so that's one of their choices, and I couldn't remember off the top of my head. So
Does
you
the
do have some
Promethean
boards.
board allow audio to be recorded?
Yes,
Because
and
I-
Lance,
yeah.
there is a choice there, and I had the issue.
So that could
Yes,
be one.
I had an issue in my room because it was going through my laptop, and the voice was really bad. And I had already done this kind of a thing through Jing, so I had an external mic. But then there was something, and then he had to come and set me up, and now we're working. And my external mic is there now, and it picks up great, but it's not. It's it's a unidirectional, so it has to be right there. Where he's I'm hoping to get a wireless one that we still want it to be pretty much unidirectional, right? And not omni
Yeah,
for this type of thing.
you know, to the audio quality is definitely
It's better if it's unidirectional than if
yes.
it's for omni. So
yeah, because otherwise you're going to pick up
yes, everything. Well, and it's just me in the room when I'm doing this on my own as putting it there, but I could see a time where I want the kids, I mean, that's what I had envisioned, was that the kids would be doing this too. And I want their work to be there as well, so it's not just me all the time blabbing at them. And the kids get more excited about that. So if they can type their, do their own work and have their own videos displayed, I think they'll be more in tune with the math, because I'm a math teacher too. They'll be like, oh, I really want it to be right.
Because everybody's going to see it.
Right, to give them the opportunity to practice ahead of time so that they got it down. So they can practice on the Promethean. Once they have it down, they're ready to go. They tape it, it's done, and we can throw it up there. But then, do I always have to convert to a YouTube file? Because that's extra stuff I don't want to have to do. Will the AVIs play? Because like I said, it didn't seem to.
I'll have to come up and take a look.
Well, it's on my website.
Okay.
So I was going to say this, that for me, going right to the upload through YouTube, I don't think that took 2 minutes. I think it did it automatically. And one of the nice things about the YouTube that I noticed, for instance, we were saying that if I'm giving this direction to each individual group of students, I may miss something. And I did hear when I was recording this myself, we're finding relative error, and I set it up as a ratio, but I forgot to multiply it by 100, so I get the percent.
Yeah. Very observant, Claire.
So you put your note in there.
So I can stick a note right in there. Oh, oops, right
Yeah.
here. We
Was
gotta
that when you
remember to
edited
make
it on
it
Movie Maker? Or
That
No.
was YouTube.
on
YouTube.
YouTube?
Mhm.
Okay.
That was a student actually brought that to my attention.
Excellent.
And so it was, oh, thank you. So that's something.
Yeah, I
Now-
love when they do that. I do, really. It's like, oh,
Uh-huh.
today I had just a thing. They were like, Ms. Sheaver, that's not right. And I erased it. I'm like, yes, it was right. But I like
And a
And-
simplified version is the little ladybug that I have connected to my computer, which also allows me to print
Okay.
audio, video.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's nice.
So that's sort of.
Hey, well, that's something that, remember we talked about the Erasma, where you could take a picture of the document and
Yes.
add some stuff to it? Yeah, that would work really nice.
And then I guess there's one more aspect of something that I hope to do in the future, and that's something that I've been speaking with Lance about. When a student brought this to my attention, and then I corrected it, rather than me correct it, or rather than me take the time to edit it, if I were to record a lecture, and let's say it was 40 minutes, but that includes a lot of dead time, it includes a lot of pausing and waiting for students to contemplate the answer, all this. If I post it up there being about 40 minutes long, and I tell the students, I want you to find the key points in here, and I want you to whip this into a 5-minute video. I want you to just make it like a highlights reel, like a preview of things to come,
That'd be great.
and just give me the 5 major points and give me a minute on each, and still take that out, edit the video yourself, and then post it back, respond it. Now I don't know if I want to see what they all have to think about what my lectures are, but I think it's a neat idea. It's something I'd like to toy with as I try to develop this into a solid part of my course.
Yeah, I think there's so many things that you can use with this flip kind of learning that even the kids that don't have access at home, they can sit in the morning and if they have that study time over here or recess time, they can come in and pop on their headphones and take a listen. Super.
Cool.